The Isaiah Factor Uncensored starts right now.
And welcome to The Factor Uncensored on this Wednesday night. It's been more than a year since DeAndre Arnold was suspended from Barbers Hill High School over the length of his dreadlocks, something he grew out for years as part of his heritage. Now that same school district is reporting 36 in-school suspensions on the first day of school because of hair length. We ask our panel, why is this even an issue at a time right now?
Joining us here on The Factor Uncensored to talk about the latest in Barbers Hill is State Representative Ron Reynolds and State Representative Jasmine Crockett. First of all, Representative Reynolds, we have to ask ourselves, what the hell is going on in Barbers Hill where they're focused on cutting students' hair during a pandemic when many school districts are finding it difficult to bring kids back into the classroom? They're essentially running them out with these in-school suspensions, telling them they can't be in the classroom. Now, we all know this began with DeAndre Arnold almost 2 years ago, where he found himself kicked out of school, not able to walk with his classmates to graduate because of the length of his hair.
Yeah, Isaiah, it is troubling that we're revisiting this at the start of a new school year. During a pandemic, when the most critical issue facing parents and students is it safe to go back? Do we have virtual learning? Am I going to catch COVID? Is there a mask mandate? All of those are considerations, not is the length of my hair appropriate for me to be able to go and learn. So we're putting our kids in an environment that we're picking winners and losers based on their hair texture. So I'm very disappointed that they're focused on this. They should be focused on the academics. This is mental trauma. What they did to DeAndre Arnold, I know this because he shared this with me privately. It destroyed him. It could have if he wasn't such a resilient young man. So this Barbers Hill, they're focused on misplaced priorities. They shouldn't be subjecting these students to in-school suspension. They should be embracing them, welcoming them back, and letting them feel comfortable and safe in an academic environment so that they can succeed in learning and matriculating throughout their high school career.
Now, when we first started this, Representative Crockett, almost 2 years ago, the focus and the target were 2 African-American students. Now we're hearing that out of the 36 that were placed into in-school suspension, 22 were white, 12 were Hispanic, and 2 were other, as described by the school district. Obviously, they took a lot of pressure for focusing on African Americans 2 years ago. Is this their way to say, hey, look, we're picking on the white kids now?
Absolutely. First of all, it's good to see you. But right now, it's seemingly what they're doing is trying to double down on their terrible policies, right? So now it's like, hey, look, it's kind of like when people say, but I got a white friend, so I'm not racist, right? So it's like, I'm gonna do this to the white kids too, so y'all don't think it's racist. No, we know what it was born out of. We know that this was a policy that was born out of an intention to specifically discriminate against young men of color, young boys of color. And so, for them to now do this, it's kind of like, let's make sure we don't look so bad in the pending lawsuit. That's all that's about. But honestly, what they should do to make sure that they don't look bad in the pending lawsuit is make sure that they just get rid of the terrible policy. But for them, they don't want to do that because that's basically admitting that the policy is terrible. But right now, you can't worry about that. The fact is you messed up. And we've got kids, for instance, you said it when you opened up. In one of my school districts, my main school district, DISD, Dallas ISD, they are looking for their students. They can't find them. There are students that are behind because of the pandemic from last year. And so what we need to focus on is making sure that we're putting something of value into these children's heads so that they can be successful. That is what we are supposed to do. That is what those that are sitting on that board are entrusted to do. And as far as I'm concerned, they are violating their fiduciary duty. They need to focus on how they're going to get these students educated and how they're going to keep these students safe.
Representative Reynolds, are these damn board members out of touch? Should they be replaced? Should we be looking for new school board members and a touch of diversity? Because we've seen that board and none of those people look like any of us.
Well, Isaiah, I think diversity is a strength when you have people from different backgrounds and socioeconomic, whether racial, ethnic, gender. It is always helpful to have a great diversity of views. People have different perspectives, but when you have a set of board members that have similar experiences, they can't relate to students that may come from different demographics. So I would argue that yes, they should. But more importantly, we as a state, we need to pass the Crown Act so that we don't have school boards that implement policies like this that hurt their students. We need to pass the Crown Act in this state. And now this is more reason why we need to do this in the next legislative session. So I intend to refile that legislation the next session, because we cannot continue to see this happen over and over again. But yes, the local community should reevaluate the people that they've entrusted to represent them at the school level, particularly in Barbers Hill.
What we have seen, Representative Crockett, and we're hearing from our reporter on the ground, that the barber shops are inundated in that area. Kids are on the run to try and get their haircuts in order to comply with the board's policy, with the district's policy.
You know, I hadn't even thought of that, probably because I don't have a son, but that actually makes even more sense, right? So what you're going to do is tell kids, hey, go into a barbershop where you're going to be in close contact with someone while COVID-19 is surging, so that you can just make us feel better about our policy that has nothing to do with what you are learning, that has nothing to do with distracting other students from learning, that has nothing to do with anything. We are going to go ahead and further subject you to some sort of potential risk as it relates to COVID-19. I mean, that just only compounds how idiotic this is, right? Like it doesn't make sense. There could have been parents that made the decision not to have their kids' haircut simply because they didn't want to take a risk of sending them to the barbershop. Right. I mean, it just makes it even worse.
Now, the school district is stressing this is not your regular suspension. This is your in-school suspension. A suspension is a suspension. Again, the makeup of those students suspended in-school suspension: 22 white students, 18 Hispanic students, and 2 were listed by the district as other. We don't know what that means.